Good morning, good morning, good morning. Marcus Conte reporting. So is COVID-19 the great educator or what? Seems like it's teaching a lot of people about isolation, teaching people about the economy, teaching people about what it means to be alone or there, locked away, no one to talk to, no one to tell you what time it is, no one tell you go to your desk and work, go to your desk and not work. Spiritual ramifications. Good morning, everybody. Where am I today? Oh, you're in for a treat. Wait until you see where I am today. Wait until you see where I am today. Talking about my usual subject, income and wealth inequality in this country. But it goes both ways. Look at these projects. Look where I am. See these projects? Those are poor people. That's where poor people in New York live, right? And when you see where I am, in the proximity of the national monuments and national treasures, you say to yourself, wow, it's nice to be poor. Down here on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, look at all these projects. Give me a thumbs up if we're live. Give me a 1 if we're live, please. Thank you. Not seeing any comments. Good morning, everybody. We're down here on the Lower East Side of New York. Wait for some people to get here. Maybe we'll play some music while listen to the AM radio. See what's on AM radio.
It's taken us over 1 month to get to where we are today.
The president and governor both saying the meeting was positive and they agreed on other issues.
I've asked Andrew if we could bring the Comfort back to its base in Virginia so that we can have it for other locations, and even New Jersey.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. The water is wonderful, actually. We're down here on Lower East Side trying to take the temperature of this area, a relatively, quote, poor neighborhood. A lot of Chinese immigrants, a lot of third and fourth generation black, Hispanic people. They live in poor. They're down here. But wait until you see where I am. Right? So let's talk about the news, do a little riff on the news, and I'll take you over to just an amazing place. So the big stories, riff the news. Kim Jong-un, maybe dying, they say. I don't know. Bill de Blasio's whole plan of snitch on your neighbor failed. Failed miserably, bigly. European tourism is down 70%. You think they're going to recover? Hell fucking no. And I want to coin a new phrase. I mean, I think the left had Russiagate. Now the right, with their top cheerleader, Tucker Carlson, who I used to like, but now is saying some stupid shit, man. He's saying some really stupid shit. And, he's promoting this notion that China is to blame for everything. So let's talk about Kim Jong-un. So Kim Jong-un, potential successors, he's sick. He had surgery. He's overweight, smoking, and he's overworked is the official story. That is the official story coming out of the communist bloc, if you want to believe it. Look at that scene over there, Bo. How's the comments? Somebody comment, please. Just give me a thumbs up if we're for some reason I can't see the comments. No, comments aren't flowing. The comments are not flowing, so I apologize for that. I don't know. I don't know why the comments are not flowing, but okay, whatever. I know you're there. So Kim Jong-un, chairman of North Korea, reportedly in grave condition after surgery, overweight, smoking, and overwork. Big deal. Do we believe it? I don't believe it. I believe it when I see it. I think that it's, you're dealing in a very secretive communist country. and propaganda is, propaganda is the way of the world over there. And so I don't really believe it. The biggest story, the bigger part of it is that Kim Yo-jong, his sister, Kim Jo-young, Kim Yo-jong, Kim Jong-un, and Kim Yo-jong is the sister's name, right? And she's tough, reportedly, right? So here's a problem, though. Lesbians, don't get too excited about having a woman ruling the most dictatorial communist place in the world, right? Because there's a problem there. North Korea is a patriarchal, men-only society. Men only. Wait till you see where I am, man. You guys are going to love this shit, right? You guys are going to love this. Just going to riff the news a little bit. I do think that coronavirus is an educator of some sort. I think it's teaching people about the values of things. For me, there we go. I see some comments finally. Good morning, heavy metal pedal. I see some. I just saw a few comments. Keep flashing them, if you will, please. There we go. Oh, look, it's Kathy Chang is in the house. Hey, look, Kathy Chang. Look where I am. Look at this. Vinny D. Martini, what's up? Okay, I can see the comments now. All right, for some reason they were stalling. So, a lot of people know the Brooklyn Bridge from being on the bridge. Here in New York, we know the bridge from being under the bridge. All right? Like Red Hot Chili Peppers song. Under the bridge of love. Under the bridge I love, whatever he's saying. Is where I drew some blood. So, and that over there is the Manhattan Bridge. So we'll keep talking about this. Kim Jong-un, unfortunately, because she is a woman, she has a vagina, she will unlikely not become the king of North Korea if Kim Jong-un dies from smoking himself to death. Unfortunately. Yeah. So Trump, I guess Trump was excited about it. Trump seemed to be pretty excited about having, reaching out to Kim Jong-un in his time of trouble, right? In his time of alleged sickness. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted down here. It's kind of cold too. A little bit, but look at the beautiful Brooklyn Bridge, man. Isn't that cool? So that's what's going on with Kim Jong-un. Sorry, lesbians. It's likely that you're not going to get a woman to rule the most communist country. So Bill de Blasio's bullshit about ratting out your neighbor, snitching on your neighbor, snitching on the guy next to you for not social distancing appears to be a total flop. Right? Rat out your neighbor. Failed bigly. Woo! Failed bigly. What happened? They shut the hotline down. They set up a hotline 311. Call up. Send a picture of people not social distancing, and we'll get the fine NYPD to come down there and break it up. It didn't work. Right? What happened? People send dick pictures. There's some NYPD right there. They're watching my back. They got my back. So de Blasio's hotline 2 days later flooded with dick pictures, Hitler memes, middle fingers, lots of fuck yous, lots of eat a bag of dicks. One tipster said, de Blasio was seen performing oral sex on someone in the back of a 7-Eleven. People rising up, right? There's more than one way to rebel, right? That's a good one. That is a good one, right? Send de Blasio a picture of your penis. A little cock rock for you. New York style. I don't know who's sending it, but it's pretty cool, man. So what else is going on in the news? Yeah, so de Blasio's system failed, right? European tourism is dropped 70%. That's crazy. You would think it would drop even more, right? If no one's allowed to travel, it must have dropped like 100%. It sure looks like it here. Again, that's where the poor people live. These are all poor people, right? Income and wealth inequality is not just for the poor. It's not just for the rich. See, the poor people have the deck stacked as well in their favor. And that too is a problem in my view. Now, I know people don't want to hear it, but it is a problem of the system of capitalism that is failing, starting in probably 1971 when we went off the gold standard and the system of fiat money, printing money to create wealth, pseudo wealth out of pulling wealth out of nowhere. Fiat money, just print money and pay for things. A debt economy, right? 1971-ish is when it really started. And escalated through the Reagan era, exploded during the two terms of Clinton. And now here we are in a debt economy that collapsed, that fails, that if people can't work or won't work for a month, right? Everything stops. The whole system of paying bills and paying off debt on leverage debt, not just debt, but leverage debt. It escalates. I think this is a scene from a Woody Allen movie. Woody Allen films down here. It's pretty whack. Love this spot. One of my favorite spots in New York. We're directly under the Brooklyn Bridge. Well, almost directly. You see how close I am. There's the Brooklyn Bridge. Yeah, man. Take care of yourself. Don't be afraid to live your life. You know what I mean? Life is for the living. Like for me, my life hasn't changed at all. My life has improved as a result of the coronavirus epidemic. Not because of what I'm doing, but because of my mindset that I don't mind people being 10 feet away from me. I like it. Stay away from me. I'm not dependent on your support or any of that stuff. Try to be independent in this world, right? So that is a problem in Europe. I think the U.S. is going to have the same thing. I just heard that Trump, they signed, the Senate and Congress just signed another $484 billion in stimulus, corona stimulus money, and that's aimed to help the small businesses that they already helped or allegedly helped, and the large corporations stole that money, as I said they would, that the small businesses never got their money. Small business never got their money because the big corporations stole it from them. And that's okay with everybody. There's no problem, right? No consequence. Large corporations stole $300 billion or $200 billion, however many billion, right? Millions of dollars. Harvard University got like $100 million for nothing. Money that they didn't need. And again, no consequences. People steal millions of dollars. They're stealing millions of dollars, no consequence. That's crazy, right? It's crazy, and the people that need the money can't get the money because they don't have a team of lawyers to figure out how are we going to get the money. How are you going to get the money? I don't know. How are you going to get the money? You got to fill out a piece of paper online. You got to fill out a form online, and then it runs out. You can't get the money. It's a clusterfuck, right? And it's created by who? The 6 large banks that are designated to divvy it up. You left it to the banks again. The most corrupt people in the world, right? So anyway, that stimulus package is not going to help. It's not going to help regular people. It's going to help. It's designed to give small business the bump that they desperately need and will need going forward. And they ain't going to get it. Right? I love being down here, man. It's beautiful. I love being down here when there's no people. It's not that peaceful, though. You see this thing right here? That's the FDR right there. It's the fucking cars. You hear the cars up there? Huh. It's noisy up there, but it's quiet down here. Huh? And so are people fighting back? Are they waking up? Are they realizing they got taken? Try to film some of these seagulls here. Check out my seagulls. This is, I'll call this Lonely Beach. That's Lonely Beach, lonely seagulls on the beach in Brooklyn. Well, actually, we're in Manhattan. Directly under the Brooklyn Bridge over here. You see the Manhattan Bridge off to the off in the distance over there. That's the South Street Seaport, the new one. This thing over here, they built a new seaport. They knocked down the old one because I guess it wasn't serving them. So how's everybody doing? If you're getting here late, we're here in New York City. We're here in under the glorious Brooklyn Bridge. Manhattan Bridge, excuse me. The Brooklyn Bridge, Manhattan Bridge, that's Brooklyn across the water over there. Just a little sightseeing today. I break it up a little bit. Come on, man. Gotta break this shit up already. The fucking news is depressing, man. The news is depressing. So one other story, and then I just want to riff a little bit, is Missouri, Attorney General Eric Schmidt filed the first lawsuit suing China over the coronavirus pandemic. Now, that's a civil case. A civil lawsuit is filed in federal court in America. Like the Chinese are going to get the Chinese could get a fair deal, right? So this jackoff attorney general, it just shows you how corrupt the system is, right? They'll file this lawsuit in federal court in Missouri. They'll win the lawsuit because China will either not show up or they can't get a fair trial, so they'll lose, and then they'll be liable for $1 trillion in damages, right? In an American court, very fair. Right? So anyway, Missouri files the first lawsuit suing China over coronavirus pandemic. Will the case be accepted? Yeah, it probably will. It's because the whole thing is corrupt. Everybody has an interest in what's now called Coronagate, which is blame China so that we don't have to look at ourselves. Right? Blame China for everything. And the lawsuit, the theme of the lawsuit, the allegations are misrepresentation, public nuisance negligence. So Tucker Carlson's running with this one hard. Tucker Carlson is calling it the Wuhan coronavirus. The Wuhan coronavirus. That's the phraseology, and I think Trump coined that. Trump was talking about that as well. All right. So, federal case now filed in the Eastern District of Missouri. China will most likely ignore that case, in my humble opinion. Why would they even bother? Right? Then they'll step it up to criminal. They'll get indictments. They'll show indictments. They'll show shady Chinese guys in laboratories. They're fucking guilty, man. They did it on purpose. They fucking polluted the whole global economy with Wuhan. Blame somebody. Gotta blame somebody, man. You can't just accept the fact that it could have been an accident. It's a virus. It's all. Who knows? Nobody knows. Nobody will ever know the origin of the coronavirus. It doesn't matter. Pay attention to the collapsing economy, because that's what really matters, man. The real shit is that right there. So, good morning, everybody. Marcus Conte reporting from the Lower East Side of New York. Taking a peaceful walk through Chinatown. I'm hoping I don't get my ass kicked down here, but there seems to be a cop car parked. I'm under the FDR Drive right now. Under the FDR, the Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And I'm across the street from where all the poor people live in the projects. I had third and fourth generation Chinese and black and Hispanic, and there's no white people in there, some. Mostly blacks. So anyway, so is the coronavirus teaching people anything in their isolation, in their moments of uncertainty, in their financial worries, and their spiritual worries, and their physical needs where they can't move around, their physical bodies being struck down with a fucking nasty ass flu? I think so. I think people are more optimistic than I am. I think that the illusion is that people are going to have woken up in some way to the notion of, do I really need all the stuff that I work so hard for? I work this job and I don't really like it, and at the end of the day, what do I have? I miss, one month's one paycheck, and I'm screwed, right? I'm living so tight and so rough, and now I'm home, and you know what? I actually like it. I like being home. I like this time. It's a little hard to get used to, but essentially I like it. Right? Is that going to have a lasting effect on most people? Are people going to be changed so dramatically that they're not going to they're not going to snap back, right? Nothing. It's not just going to fall back into place. Everything is what I'm trying to say. I think the answer is no. I think it's no. I think that I got four police. Four police watching me. I think the answer is no. I think that they're not watching me. They're hanging out at the best spot. Look at the spot they have, right? Look at the spot they have. It's fucking beautiful, right? Beautiful. See the bridges? Right? See a boat or two pass. I'll get back to that thought in a second, because I don't think that people are going to change that much. That's a, if you could see it, it's a transportation boat, and those run around Manhattan quite often, and they go pretty fast. They go about 25 knots, and you could take them from the upper west downtown. You could take it to Far Rockaway. There's other boats. There's a sign over there. I don't know what it means, though. You see that? You go, girl. You go, girl. So, are people going to be changed at the core, economically, spiritually, physically, mentally, from this awakening? Is this an awakening of some sort, or are they going to just spring back with a vengeance? I want to go fucking shop, man. I want to eat. I want to sit down in a restaurant and be served, and I want to go to a bar and drink. I want to get back to the way it was. Are most people sitting home and they're gonna come out of their house like a slingshot? Or are they changed forever? Are we gonna have actual awareness? People sitting home, maybe some people reading the news for the first time. A lot of people don't have time to dive into the news. They don't have time to. There's a tourist. There's a local tourist. They don't have time to actually analyze the real news, right? I guess I'll stay down here for a second. I want to show you the other side where the buildings are. You see where we are. We're very, very close to the Wall Street area. Manhattan is very, very small at the bottom half, or the bottom part. I think you can see the Freedom Tower. See the Freedom Tower over there? Let's see. Let's see if I can give you the Freedom Tower. Yeah, see? The Freedom, you can see that's the Freedom Tower coming up. This is where all the poor people live. That's the Freedom Tower, right? And all down below the Freedom Tower, that's where all the rich cocksuckers, the Wall Street fuckers live, right? There's another empty ambulance for you. Empty ambulance. We're not even talking about that anymore, because what do we prove walking around into the fucking Hospitals. We learned nothing. What did we learn? We learned empty hospitals. We saw empty emergency rooms and no ruckus outside and no hustle bustle. Just a lot of morgues, maybe a couple of inside, maybe a packed ICU here and there. A lot of people intubated on tube feedings, tube breathing tubes that they shouldn't be on, ventilators. That's probably killing them. We learned so much about this thing, but people are still. The startling fact is this economy is still closed. There is no business going on, and that is the reality of it. People are sitting home right now. Are people dying to go back to work? Are people dying to go back to work after this? That should be a topic. That's a topic right there. Are people dying to get back to their old life? Their old life, what is their old life? Their old life is 9-to-5 slavery in something that they don't want to do. Like they're miserable. They're home, right? And they're not good at that. They're not good at being alone or being in close proximity with the wife and the kid or kids. Right? They don't know how to act because that's not who they are. They're corporate. They're just sold out. So, can you check out the emergency care center on Essex and Delancey? No. We are living Dog Day Afternoon. That's true. Except the bank robbers are the government. You're right. That's a great movie, man. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, man. Dog Day Afternoon with fucking Al Pacino, man. That's a fucking great movie. That's when Al Pacino was a real man. Now he's a coward. Now he's a coward. Jill still has Biden locked in the game room. Yeah, he probably, right? People have to have money to eat and feed their families. Yeah, they do, right? They absolutely do. But at what expense, Mr. Citizen? At what expense? A total commitment of all your time and resources just to feed yourself? That's not how nature is, by the way. Look around you. In nature, you have this. My hair is so beautiful, but right now it's just, I'm having a bad hair day. Just bear with me, man. I'm seeing myself and I'm seeing my bad hair, and it's just driving me crazy. There's a soup kitchen right here. You could walk in and eat if you want. Yeah, breakfast and lunch. See, I'm not going to go inside there and embarrass people, but it's a line for food. See, rich people get free food, right? I mean, poor people get free food. But you can see it's a line up 6 feet apart for breakfast and lunch. Right? It's a soup kitchen. You can go in there and you can sit down, you can eat. If you don't have money, I have money, so I'm not going to go in there and suck the resources. I have money in my pocket, and I'm not going to do that. Why would I do that? And all those people, I guarantee you, have money in their pocket too, but they still go in there and eat, right? Because it's free. It's free. I forgot what I was saying. But anyway, I don't think that much has changed. I think people, although they realize that their time, about people have to feed themselves and their families. At what expense? At a totality of their lives. That everything they do has to be focused on basic survival, paying the bill, and keeping the thing flowing, right? But that's not how it really is in nature. Look around you. Go out into nature. Bears don't even eat for 4 months, 3 months. They sleep. Look at most animals. They lay around and they hunt. They get their food. They feed their pups. And for the most part, they just hang around and like alley cats, right? They just or birds. Birds don't spend all their time. They lay in the grass. They sit in the grass. They eat grass. They fly here. They fly there. They're not working all the time, is what I'm saying. What I think the awakening could be for people is that quite possibly they realize that their lives are not their own, that they're slaves, that they're slaves to they're 9-to-5 slaves, they're slaves to debt, they're slaves to the idea that I too can be a trillionaire. I too could be Jeff Bezos. I'm going to keep working at this capitalist thing. Because if I work hard, I can be a millionaire and a billionaire. And those realities are, there is some truth left in that reality, but it's millions to one. It's millions to one shot. So 99.9% of people's efforts, and then I'll let you go when I make this point, because this is a good point. This is my point. This is the point I've been trying to make all morning, but I'm walking around freezing my ass off in the ghetto over here, showing you guys the fucking bridge. Oh, look, the horses. I found a horse stable. That's a New York horse right there. Get on the horse and I lost my thought again. Lost my train of thought, man. It's cold. So, what is the thought? What was I trying to say? I was trying to say that life is a lot simpler than people make it out to be. That there has to be more to it. There has to be art. There has to be recreation. There has to be entertainment. There has to be time with their little darling children that they spend so much time fostering. That's what I wanted to say. People buy into the notion that they buy into this lonely notion that someday I could be a trillionaire and I could be a millionaire. There's people in this projects right there, right now, think that. They think that someday I could take that ball and dribble it down the alleyway there and shoot it and I'll be famous. And there's people behind me. People making funny faces at me. They think they're being filmed, but they're not. I'm being filmed. So they buy into this notion that someday they'll be a trillionaire, and that's good enough. I'll keep working. 99.9% of the people buy into the lie that they could be super wealthy and have super more and super everything. And then one day they look up and they're in their 70s and their 60s. They got no savings. They thought like the career, they spent 35 years on a job, working for the government, working for the city. And they think, oh, what an impact I had on people's lives. And the second they walk out of there, the moment they retire, they are forgotten forever. And no one gives a shit about them. And the banks will do everything they can to make sure they don't get that pension. Is it worth it? Or is there an alternative to that? Going back to nature, a more socialist idea, where income and wealth inequality is distributed more equally rather than to the failed capitalist idea of a few people controlling everybody and everything. Are people aware of that? I don't know. Based on some of the comments, I would say they are not. Based on some of the comments, I would say they are. But I don't know. It's not for me to decide. What do I think? I think the answer is no. The awakening should be I'm sorry, it's going so fast I can't see it. I can only read a sentence or so. It'll still be like that, Marcus, says the Citizen Reporter. I agree. I agree that it will still, I think that the trajectory of awakening is not that firm. And I believe that Bernie Sanders' campaign shows us that when a man steps up to the plate, and I know everybody has a different opinion about Bernie Sanders. He's a sellout, he's a Jew, he's senile. I heard every one of them. But the fact that a man can profess policies and things that all people need, like universal single-payer health care, college tuition free at city and state universities, end the insurgency wars, get money out of politics so we don't have the stealing, the constant stealing by the banks, stealing from the regular people. You got to get money out of politics. The politicians are corrupt. They're on the take. All of them, not just the lefties, not just the righties, all of them. You don't become a senator if you don't get that hard. But the idea that Sanders' campaign couldn't couldn't hammer home even the simplest points of income and wealth inequality shows me that, Mr. Citizen Reporter, you are right, that nothing will change. That people will spring right back into their daily lives and feel good about it. They'll feel good, like, oh, we're back, right? And then they'll go back in. Look at the statistics. More people are on antidepressants now than they were when this thing started, right? That's crazy. More people are taking it. There's a spike in antidepressant medications, probably alcoholism as well, probably, you know, all kinds of narcotics and all kinds of shit, right? So there is no indication that people are enjoying their isolation. Instead, there's evidence that they're going out of their minds and they're going to spring right back. Can't wait to get back to that old lifestyle. That's killing them. That's the illusion, chasing the carrot after something that never materializes. So is there a better life, is what I'm saying, Conte. What, Conte, you're just pissing on everybody's life. You're just a fucking pessimist, man. You don't know what you're talking about, dude. Everything is fine. It's you. You're miserable, man. It's you. You can't see it. That is one way of looking at it. You can vilify the messenger and say that everything is perfect just the way it is. It's ideal. It's the way it's supposed to be, right? And there is no hope for change. So why bother? Right? Why have any politicians? Why not just go back to a primitive society of, people eating each other? Remember when they used to do that? The cavemen, they used to not only defeat their enemy, but drag them back to the cave and eat them. Barbecue them and fucking eat their bone. Throw the bones on make spears out of their bones. Right? That's what they used to do. Maybe we should go back to that, man. Survival of the fittest. The Indians, right? People bash the Indians. Right? The Indians, what was that Dances with Wolves, right? Do you remember Dances with Wolves? That movie. The Indians used to sit around and have sex in the teepee, and the women would sew for them, and the men would go out and shoot the buffalo, drag the buffalo back, and everybody was happy. They had time. They went to war. They had conflicts with other tribes, but for the most part, their lives were simple. And that's my fear right now, is that people have lost the ability to understand that life is much more simple than it is. It's much more simple than the life that they're living. And if coronavirus is an educator, it should teach them that. But will it? I don't know. I think people are pretty stubborn, man. I think people are set in their ways. I think people are, we can never discount the power of the corporate media. If anything, that's what I try to do. I mean, I'm just speaking a truth, unaffiliated with any corporate media. People seem to join us and listen. And that's a good thing. I'm not getting any crash signal, so I'll keep going until I do. With 38 minutes in. What's up, Vinny DiMartini in the house? Thanks everybody for joining me today. I'll probably continue on somewhere else. I think I'm going to go and check out the hipsters today. I want to see how the very, very cool people of Williamsburg are living, where it's so cool and back in Brooklyn, but a part of Brooklyn that I don't really mix well with. I don't get along with hipsters, people that think they're so fucking cool and so intelligent and so smart. They're fucking morons, most of them. Most of them they come from different places, striving to be great artists, and they land here in Brooklyn. And then they're all together and they're all the same. They're all the same. They come to be different, and then they realize that they're all the same. That too is a trap. Freedom of the mind, freedom of the spirit, freedom of self-awareness, self-freedom, inner strength, inner knowledge is what people should be really, really trying to strive to understand. Right? That's really what it's about. It's not about this material capitalist thing. So if coronavirus has taught society anything, I hope it's that. Marcus Conte reporting.